On behalf of Kraków Technology Park, I'd like to give a really warm welcome to all of you. We are in the first ever presentation of Polish Gamers Research 2015. My name is Wojtek, and I work for KTP, as I told recently. I'd like to introduce to you my great colleagues, Patrycja Rodzińska from Onet and Michał Babrowski from Gry Online.
Yes, that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are really honored to be here and present to you the second edition of the biggest Polish Gamers Research. We are very, very proud that the Polish Gamers Research is not only it's a part of a bigger project describing Polish games market. The project that we are conducting with Ministry of Culture and National Heritage of the Republic of Poland and Adam Mickiewicz Institute.
Yeah, but today in this place I want to especially enumerate special thanks to, first of all, as Patricia mentioned, to Ministry of Culture and National Heritage, Marshal Office of Małopolska Province, and Adam Mickiewicz Institute, which is responsible for Creative Europe program. Thanks to his support, we create this project, which will be the part of something bigger.
That's right.
And probably in the end of September, even now, we can invite you to some special presentation in Warsaw, where we present the whole comprehensive project about the whole Polish gaming industry. But now let's move to some information about this survey.
Now you will get some information about the methodology. I'm a sociologist, so prepare for some tough stuff. This research was conducted in the end of April, in the second half of April, and in the beginning of May, as computer-based interviews, web interviews with a real-time sampling on nearly 4,000 people sample. So it's really a big sample, statistically well-done sample. It's over 2 times more respondents than we had 1 year ago. I assume not all of you have studied social sciences, so I'll try to make it short and simple. Thanks to such a large sample, we have a very reliable layers of the probe. So we have like 750 people in every platform we will be talking about, so it's really enough to make statistical analysis. And it means these outcomes are really reliable. Yeah? So if I were a developer myself, I would really base on this data to plan my businesses.
Okay, so let's start from the one very important question: how many gamers are there among Polish internet users? And the answer is this year it's 72%. And what is also important to note that last year we asked about 4 main platforms. I mean games installed on computer, console games, mobile devices, so games on smartphone or tablet, and browser games. In this year we decided to expand. We ask also people who play only via social network sites like Facebook and nk.pl. And even if we compare the results from last year, this is significant change. Last year it was about 60%. This year, excluding people who play only on traditional cell phone, is 69%. So 9% difference. And as you see on this part, this is a result from last year's survey. And please notice that the growth is especially visible among people who play on mobile devices. Last year it was 28%. This year is 40%, so 12% higher results. And this is very important to show that even with bigger target group, people are going to start to play. And what is very important to remember, that games is not only typically connected with install games or console games. Games are also available on mobile devices, on browser games, and in social network. And few information about the current profile of Polish gamers.
That's right. Very interesting results, and I hope that the results of this presentation will change the prevailing perception in Polish society and some of Polish media that games are connected only with young men, young boys, because it is in 53% false. In 53% of our respondents and gamers are women. So please, next time when you think about gamer, when you write about gamers, don't think about young boys with glasses. Think about women in middle age, your girlfriends, wives, mothers. That's the majority of Polish gamers group. Last year in all 4 groups, this year we have 5, but in all 4 groups, mobile gamers, browser gamers, PC gamers, and console gamers, men were dominating. And only in the case of browser gamers group, women constituted 45% of gamers. This year, the situation changed and surprised us very much. Please notice that in the case of web browser gamers and mobile gamers, there are 56% of women playing games. And the biggest change can be seen in the case of mobile gamers. The growth in the terms of number of players in Poland generally is driven by women playing mobile games. That's something interesting and worth to notice. Games are played by women. 53% of gamers in Poland are women. In the case of console gamers, this is still men's word.
On contrary, I can also add that among people who play MMO games, this is, I can describe it as a man's word. It's 80% of
Yes.
men, only 20% of women who playing MMO games. And now move to some age information.
Let's jump to age. As you see, we have a more or less smooth distribution of age among all platforms, so we may say that the age does not vary according to platform. We have a slight younger players in the in mobile games and slight older players in console games. It's easy to explain with economic reason because of the cost of the console and games for the console. Please notice that we have already a significant number of players in the highest age, so 35 to 55. It was the maximum level we examined in this research, but I'm pretty sure that in the coming years we'll be talking about gamers 60 plus and gamers 60 plus in large numbers. It's coming already now.
Few information about place of residence, and this result does not differ much from the general internet population age 15 to 55. And as you can see, gamers we can meet also in small villages as well as in the biggest Polish city. So, and this result didn't change since last year.
But it's worth to mention that people in villages constitute 30% of all gamers.
That's true.
That's really, really important. And then now let's move to education. The education level among different type of gamers, mobile browsers, social consoles, those who install their games on PC is rather the same. 30% of all gamers have primary education. 34, these are people with secondary education, and 26 has higher education. What's also very interesting are the answers from the respondents related to their profession. We learned last year that games are not related to pupils and younger students. They are related to people who are permanently employed. And in this year's edition, the result is the same. 42% of those who declare are gamers are people who are permanently employed. 25%, these are those who are pupils, younger students. There's a small change in the case of unemployed, of those who don't have job, unemployed people. Last year it was 8%, this year it is only 5% of gamers.
Okay. Looking at the financial status of the gamers, we have gamers in fact in every economic class in Poland. So of course it's a self-assessment question. We did not examine how the people really earn, what the people really earn. They self-assessed where do they feel or how do they feel like. If we ask the same question to the general population of Poland, it's lower. So the gamers, let's say, self-evaluate themselves better in the economic sense. But anyway, we have gamers everywhere. And just to make a very small sum up of the gamers profile, we are really talking about a common and a massive cultural and social phenomena. Yeah? We have gamers in all possible social classes. We have youngers, we have elderly people, we have men and women. And we must start thinking about gamers in such a diverse way. And with such a huge diversity, we also have emerging interesting niches in the gamers profile. And if I were, again, a game developer myself, I would think about these niches too in your business plans.
Thanks to our research, we tried to find out the motivation why people play. And the most popular motivation for playing games on computer or playing console games is rest and relax after everyday duties. And the second one, they are doing it just for fun, with no reason. Playing on PCs and consoles is just for fun. In the case of people who's playing installed games on computer, we can observe three more interesting motivations. The first one, that's the way to deal with the stress. The second one, it's because feeling emotions. And the third one, it's ability to impersonate in a new role. In the case of all five groups, killing time is in top 3 or top 4 motivator of playing games. But please notice that in the case of mobile gamers, 72% of all mobile gamers are playing games just to kill time. Other motivations like playing for company, for competition, for feeling emotion, for ability to impersonate in new role, for developing their interest, it's not important. It's only because killing the time and then rest and relax after everyday duties. What's worth to mention that playing on gaming console is the most social activity among gamers. Almost half of console gamers are playing games for company with their friends and family. And in the case of social games, only 21% play for company with friends and family.
And we can move to gaming styles because it's something very interesting result which we seen last year, and we received exactly the same proof this year that Polish gamers is a little bit different than gamers, for example, in Western Europe. In the era of huge popularity of MMO games like Clash of Clans, World of Tanks, League of Legends, Polish people, Polish gamers still prefer to choose single-player mode, and as you see, we are talking about nearly half of them. However, the results differ on each platform, and please notice that nearly 2/3 of mobile gamers prefer to play alone. On contrary, 38% of console gamers prefer to play with others. Other results are somewhere in the middle. Okay, and now some information about general characteristic of online games.
Yes, it's a new question. It was not there in the last wave. We added this this year, because some of the developers asked for such a question, is a question that should examine the possible strategies of game monetization. We wanted to check how far the Flash games are popular and how far Polish players are already playing advanced browser games that allow some more sophisticated monetization strategies. As you see, the majority is already playing advanced games, advanced browser games, but we have still a huge population, 1/3 of gamers who play only Flash games, and it's also like a huge piece of the market you should consider.
As free-to-play games, free-to-play business model is very interesting for our region, and it's had a great influence on industry. We're very curious about popularity of free-to-play games among our respondents. We asked our respondents if they ever played free-to-play games, and we found out that 64% of our respondents said they have ever played free-to-play games, and among them, those 64%, 67% played the game at least last month. So it shows how popular are free-to-play games that change gaming industry and are one of the factors of rising monetization of this industry in Poland.
And now let's move and check the popularity of different, which is most favorite genre among gamers. I have to admit that last year we asked this question in general, so the result was very average, and some experts questioned it. So this year we decided to split into each platform separately. And as you see, when we are talking about games installed on computer, gamers prefer more complex games like strategy games or RPG games. This answer was indicated by 43% of our respondents. On the first position is shooting games, first-person shooter. Among console gamers, people have chosen type of games connected with adrenaline, with skills like action games, sports, races and simulator. All three answers were indicated by more than half of our respondents. When we are talking about next free platform, there is one undistributed leader, logic games. Among browser games is 53%, among social games is 43%, and among mobile games is 62%. But please remember that popularity of different types of games is not clearly connected with frequency of game in such games, and I think Patricia can add some additional information.
In the case of web browser gamers, we can indicate that the most addictive type of games are card games, logic games, virtual farms, and MMO. In the case of social, these are virtual farms, logic games, card games, and sport games. And can you change it for mobile?
Yep.
And in the case of mobile, the most popular type of games are logic, but the most addictive one are also logic and then economic games.
Only few people in each platform admit that they play casino games. This number might be really underestimated due to, first of all, legal barrier. Casino games are still illegal, and due to low social acceptance for such activity.
Okay. Let's take a look at the source of the games. Of course, the source of the games depends on the very type of the game and type of the platform. We have, of course, internet and downloading directly from the web at the first place. But generally speaking, I would say that Poles are traditional in the sense, and we are like looking for games in the traditional ways. Also, purchasing games are quite traditional. I will talk about it later on. on the coming slide. What's important and the positive news here on this slide is that the level of piracy in Poland is decreasing. At least the declared level of piracy is decreasing. We had 18% of people who admitted doing it last year and only 13% this year. Year to year is a really significant change.
And let's now find out source of.
Yep,
sorry.
that's mine.
Yes, it's yours.
Exactly. When we are talking about mobile games, as you see, for majority of mobile players, it's absolutely no problem to enter into App Store and purchase some new games. Only 3% of our respondents say that they play only games which are originally pre-installed on their devices. What is also important that 7% admit that they're looking for an official source of games for their mobile devices. So the question is how high is the level of piracy among all types of games, especially among mobile games where the whole process of installing unofficial games is a little bit more difficult.
And now let's find out sources of information about new games in general. Well, in general, 33% of gamers don't look for information about new games at all. And the most important source, this is word of mouth. Information received from friends, from family. That's the most important factor when you are thinking about promoting your game. And the next most significant source of information, these are online sources from internet advertisement, from social networks, from engine, Google, and many, many more. What's really sad, the TV programs and articles printed in some magazines.
I don't agree with that. It's okay for us.
Okay, are not very important for the gamers, but and they are addressed to hardcore gamers, very engaged in gaming. But those people who are watching TV programs about games or reading magazines about games, they might be the leader opinions for the rest.
Yep, and
Yeah.
now let's move for some financial aspects and some financial statistic connected with our business.
Yeah. Taking a look at the methods of payment for PC installed and console games. As you can see, again, as I told you, we are quite traditional. We have a higher level of credit card payments in console games. It's, again, quite easy, I guess, to explain. You remember the people in the age about 30 earning better. These are people who are just credit card frequent users, and they're also using credit cards to buy games. But generally speaking, we love traditional physical shops. It's something that we need, and we buy our games there. There's also a quite simple social interpretation of it. Games are very often, as you know, gifts. And if we are planning a gift, we need a physical box to make it look nice. Yeah.
And let's find out what are the most popular method of payments in the case of web browser gamers and social gamers. In this both two groups, the most popular method of payments are text SMS, message, premium SMS. But what you can notice that in the case of the web browser gamers, they are more likely to pay through SMS, or they are declaring they are more likely to pay through SMS. 75% of our respondents declared that they are paying for web browser games through SMS. 48% of social gamers said they are using this channel. The second most popular method of payment, nearly the same results in those two groups. This is internet transfer. And the third one, in the case of web browser gamers, these are payment through PayPal and credit cards. The same results. In the case of social networking, in social gamers, credit cards are less popular. Payment through PayPal is around 18%.
Okay, and information about most favorite payment method among online gamers should be very important for, first of all, for new developers with new projects and all foreign companies who are interested in entering into Polish market, because lack of payment by text message, I mean via premium SMS, is one of the most important reasons of resigning from making payment in online games. And exactly like last year, we can find three main groups: lack of acceptable payment method, lack of trust to payment provider system, and very often companies who enter into Polish markets simply forget about a major obstacle connected with language barriers. So please important that if you're really thinking to enter into Polish market, you have to translate your language, you have to translate your currency system, and especially to show people what will be the final price in Polish zloty.
We asked the same question to gamers playing social games on social platforms, and we learned that the main reason for resigning from making a payment is lack of SMS, premium SMS payment. That's the biggest issue.
Sorry, we have some small technical problem. Okay.
I can continue without this. So that's the biggest issue for social gamers: lack of payment through through SMS, premium SMS, and lack of method of payment convenient to me. And what's interesting, comparing to browser gamers, that social gamers declare, only 30% of social gamers declare that they don't trust to method of payment, and only 6% declare that they don't trust the website or the virtual currency like Eurogąbki at nk.pl. That's something very interesting comparing to results of browser gamers. And of course, what Michał mentioned, it's very important in the case of browser games, social games played on social network, to translate your site with payment into Polish and to let Polish people pay in Polish currency.
Okay, and now move to some average expenses.
Yeah, let's move to another heavyweight slide. The average expenses on PC games. We asked the gamers what amount of money are they ready to pay for a new game. And as you see on the left side, if we combine the last two numbers, about nearly half of the gamers are ready to pay 50 zloty, so about 12 euro or more for a new game, and more than 1/4 is ready to pay more than 100 zloty, so 25 euro, so more or less the average price, the lowest average price for new AAA games which are entering the market. Looking on the right side of the screen, you will see how much money are the gamers ready to spend on game extensions, and we see like two important threshold price points here. One is at about 20 zloty, so up to 20 zloty, and another one is up to 50 zloty, as you see.
Exactly similar situation is connected with expansion on console games. We clearly see there is two price level. First of all, connected with premium prices of new titles, and the second one connected with typical prices in back catalog. But what is also important, than people who play on console games are more open to spend more money for some DLC. As you see, 26% is ready to spend about 50 to 100 zloty for one DLC.
We wanted to find average expenses in the case of... Oh, I'm sorry, it's
That's
yours?
yours.
It's yours?
No.
Okay, that's me. Sorry. No surprise here. Probably we are talking about free-to-play games, so most of the gamers are not really ready to pay for it. But looking at the extensions, again, we have like two thresholds. One is at less than 5 zloty, another is about 30 zloty. Yeah, so it's about the micropayments in this type of games, and the gamers just know how the system works. Yeah. Okay.
When we compare average expenses in the case of online gamers and gamers playing on social platforms, we can observe one big difference. 24% of social gamers pay less than 5 zloty, when browser gamers, only 11% of browser gamers pay less than 5 zloty. Then we have another difference. Browser gamers are more likely to pay between 5 and 9 zloty, 21% do it. But in the case of those who pay between 10 and 19, social gamers are more likely to do that. And
Of
yes.
course, we can add that when we are talking about average expenses on online games, we are talking about all
Yes.
expenses connected with extension.
Yes, extension, because you receive free-to-play games for free and
Exactly.
pay inside the game through microtransaction. But what's interesting and surprised us a little bit, that 7% of social gamers are paying from 50 to 99 zloty, while only 4% of browser gamers are paying such amounts.
And time for some quick summary of these results. In general, we receive some clear proof that Polish market is still very promising for gaming industry. 72% of Polish internet users are a gamer, and this figure is growing from since last year more than 9%. So if you are interested to entering into Polish market, it will be land of opportunity.
That's right.
The second issue, one of the most important outcomes of the research is how far and how fast mobile games are gaining on popularity. Yeah? Michał and Patricia already stressed it at the beginning of the presentation. We had a growth from 28 to 40% only in 1 year. Only in 1 year, which made mobile games the second most popular category among all games played in Poland.
That's right. What we also stressed and what we would like you to remember, that the profile of gamers changed completely. Games are no more connected with young boys. 53% of Polish gamers are women in middle age, your girlfriends, wives, mothers. These are the largest share of gamers in Poland.
The main motivation to play on install games and console games is for fun and relax. On the contrary, on mobile games, we're playing mainly to killing time.
Yeah, okay. And the social aspects, there are many books written on lack of social capital in Poland, and we see it also in the gaming sector. Polish gamers are in fact single gamers. So we have a bit more gamers playing together on consoles, and playing console is something that we made in a social way. But what's surprising, the social networking gamers are usually playing alone.
Okay, thank you. If you have any question, feel free to ask us. And as I said, also I invite you in the September to learn more about how not only some information about statistical Polish gamer, but as well about the whole Polish gaming industry.
Once again, we want to thank to our partners. Without them, we couldn't conduct this study, and we are looking to cooperate in the future.
Yes. Thank you very much, Gry Online. Thank you very much, ONET. And once again, I would like to address our sponsors, so the Polish Ministry of Culture and National Heritage, the Adam Mickiewicz Institute, and the Małopolska Regional Authority. Really, without your crucial support, this research would not happen. Thank you very much once again.
Any question? Yep.
Yeah, we have a question here in the first row.
Yes.
Wait for the mic.
Thank you for a very nice presentation. It's always nice to see some good data. The first question I have of you is, will the data and the report be available publicly?
We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Oh, wow, that's much better.
The data will be public.
Yeah, will the data and report be public?
Yeah, the report will be public. This research was made with help of public money, Polish and European public money. So you will find the report on Digital Dragons, ONET, Gry Online and KTP websites.
And what about the raw data?
We didn't discuss it, I guess, and I don't know if we had such an agreement with the sponsor of the research. If it's possible, we'll open everything, of course. Yeah.
Okay,
And all this data will be available for everyone.
Perfect, perfect. I'm just curious, you know, I'm a game analyst, so that's just professional curiosity.
A great question, of course.
Okay, now one more thing that drew my attention. I wish there would be some more information about demography of people from these two tiers that you told about, for payments on mobile and for payments on Facebook or social media. So do you have this information, or do you know about it, or would you have to check it?
Yes, we have possibility to check exact information. However, we are not ready to, at this moment, to show all results. So I'll be very grateful if you send us your question connected with particular group of, as you said, some aspect connected with social networks, and we'll be happy to answer via email.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
much.
Let's thank them for this report and presentation.